All right, welcome into another edition of Coach's Corner. This is NA3AHL edition. I'm joined as always by Coach Josh Fusco. And Josh, first and foremost, you guys had a good bounce back weekend this week after a tough weekend against Long Island 2 weeks ago. You come back and you get 2 wins this past weekend in convincing fashion. So, first let's talk about that real quick because it kind of ties into a couple things that have been said about the team lately, and then one of those is your top line, and I know you've been juggling a little bit, but Samard, Kim, and Fuss, they've all been scoring a lot. They're top 10 in Tier 3 right now in points. How big of an accomplishment is that for you as a coach, and of course the players in their junior careers?
I think more so it's a bigger accomplishment for them. Look, I recruited these guys and I brought them in. All three of them, well, all of them, but those three, and coming in, there were guys that I was going to lean on heavy from the start, and
Sure.
and I knew they were going to be something special,
Right.
But I didn't think they'd be doing the damage they're doing.
Right.
That's pretty incredible stats that they have, and then for an organization and team, and obviously me as the coach, it's very, very nice and humbling to have 3 guys, and it's the top 100, but they're in the top 10.
Right.
It's Jake and Josh are 2 and 3, and then you got Hendrick Samard there sitting at 9.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of really cool, and I know they're all excited. I printed it out, put it on the board in the locker room, and I think for everybody to see that, it's really nice, and it's good to have in that locker room. So it's a great accomplishment. Jake was the first star last week for all of Tier 3 junior hockey, and the week before it was Josh Kim. So they're continuing their assault on their young junior careers and their rookies, and they're rookies when it comes to junior, but they play like they're veterans,
Right.
And they got that chip on their shoulder, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, good start there, good validation. Now, tomorrow you have your first game against the Metro Moose. That's the last team I believe you haven't played yet.
Correct.
They've had some solid results early in the season. What do you look for them, or what do you look for out of them in this matchup?
We don't know a whole lot about them, and to be honest, I haven't really done a whole lot of video, but talking to other guys in the league and kind of just knowing Metro from the past, they've always had a team, and when I played junior hockey way back in the day, they've always had teams and leagues that have been around, and they've always been a tough, competitive team. They're gritty, they're physical.
Right.
They play a physical game. Man on man, I think we got to stick to our game plan and use our speed. I think our attack on the neutral zone and our attack in the offensive zone is gonna do the damage. We can't get caught up in physical one-on-one battles, and we got to stay off the boards, especially on the half wall and in the neutral zone. Keep the play. Keep the play with good flow, and the puck movement.
Right.
So I think that's the key to that game there against them. It's another situation where we're going in not sure what you're going to get.
Right.
But we have to prepare the way we've been preparing, and the way we've been preparing every week. So
Right. Now you have a good stretch of games coming up here. You have one on Friday, you have one on Saturday, you have one on Sunday. That's not common really for juniors too often. It happens with the NA. They're playing a bunch of games this week as well. But what kind of test does that bring? It's obviously a good test of stamina, but in terms of having that grind, 2 of those games on the road, what do you look for? What do you want to see out of your guys?
The effort and the competitiveness, the compete level, obviously. Every day I get it out of them. I'm not too concerned about the travel. It is away, then we're home, and then we're away again, and it's kind of a short turnaround there from Friday night to Saturday.
Right.
8 o'clock at night down there in Brooklyn, and then 2 o'clock, 2:15 here. So it's a quick turnaround, but my guys, they take care of themselves. I've noticed that some of them have really taken it upon themselves to make sure their nutrition is good, and they're doing what they need to do to take care of their bodies. You know, we had a short week of practice, just Tuesday, Wednesday. Today we have a little off ice and video, but you know, I don't want to beat them up too much this week. And you know, it's a long weekend. It's our first really long week that we've had. So, but you know, I got a couple of 16s coming up. You know, get some time and you know, help out there with us. And I'm honestly not too concerned about us. I think our level of play is, we can handle it.
I gotcha. Now you got a guy back last week that you know, has been pretty valuable to this team, as Eric Fostel. You know, big guy on the blue line. You know, again, you guys had a good weekend this past weekend, winning convincingly in 2 games. But what did you like from him coming back from whatever was plaguing him?
Yeah, he tweaked his knee in practice early last week and or the week before, and you know, obviously that was the week going into Long Island. So of course we had Zach out, and I was waiting to see what the situation was. Ethan, you know, he had his concussion. Luckily he was back. But David tweaked his knee there early in the week, and it wasn't looking good. And you know, he came back last week for practice. He was ready to go into games, and you know, it's still hindering him a little bit. But you know, I haven't been forcing him, and I haven't been, you know, leaning on him as much as I you know, I can or want to. But he's responding well to it. You know, again, he's another kid that takes care of himself. He's a workhorse in that gym, and you know, he's been doing his rehab, and he's been working with Paul, and he's, you know, everything's looking good, and you know, practice yesterday and Tuesday, he looks back to normal. You can tell he was a little slow over the weekend, but especially in the game against the Renegades there, as his first one back, and you know, you take a week off, it takes a lot out of you. So his recovery's been on track, and it's good to have him back there. It's good to have him back in that lineup. So it was a little bit of could breathe a little bit easier, you know, knowing that I got David back there and I'm not rotating a guy in the back end. So it was good.
All right, one of your newer acquisitions, Jimmy Dravich. You know, he got a couple points this weekend. He got on the score sheet. You know, he's one of the younger guys on the team. You know, what is that? You know, obviously when he scored and he got a goal and he had an assist as well, you know, the guys kind of surrounded him, gave him a pat on the head. You know, again, you know, this is kind of, you've been there as a player, but also as a coach. You know, how rewarding is that to see a guy like Jimmy who comes on as again a younger player, but able to find the score sheet?
Yeah, that was a special moment, I think, for the whole team. You know, not just Jimmy, but for the whole team. And it's kind of funny. There's a little story behind that. He actually scored there Saturday night against the Renegades, and it was during the time when we had the whole helmet issue, the earpieces, and the guys I only had 5 guys. So 5 guys on the bench. It was kind of funny. It was just me and Christian on the bench. And Jimmy was one of those 5 guys on the ice. And he scored. And like at first I was just like, I'm trying to manage the situation, and I didn't really pay attention to it, you know what I mean? I was always, okay, he scored, and then there's Jimmy, and all the guys come out, and nobody believed that it was Jimmy. You know? Jimmy, you're lying, you know. No, he really scored, guys. He got his first goal. And that's why when he scored again there against Exton, everybody went nuts. You know? And it was a nice goal. Both goals were nice goals. And you know what? It was the little things that he did, and it's the little things I've been telling him. But he had a nice goal there on Sunday, and everybody, we get the puck for him, and you know, it's your first goal. I teased him a little bit in the locker room. Okay, well, this is to make up for yesterday because I didn't get you your puck. So, no, that's awesome. It's special. It's special for him. He's a 2000. He knows and understands that, you know, this is a whole new world to him. And there's a big jump in level, and he's been doing great in practice. I'm a little tough on him, but you know, he's been responding well to the teaching and to what he's learning, and you know, the whole process, and he's doing a great job, phenomenal job, and it's good to see him, you know, have the success, and you know, hopefully he can keep that going, and you know, keep producing, and it helps him settle in. You know, you can see that he kind of was able to breathe a little bit and settle in and relax, and that's great to see, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Knights, as we mentioned, get off to a 3-game stretch of games here, a 3-game series rather, Again, away tomorrow in Brooklyn to play the Metro Moose. They're back home here on Saturday, 2:15 against the New Jersey Renegades, and they'll finish out the weekend on the road once again on Sunday against the Renegades. So if you'd like to come by, see some of our games, again, NA3 nights will be here on Saturday afternoon, and we hope to see a lot of our fans out there supporting as always. And once again, if you'd like to follow us on our social media, we are the WBS Knights on Facebook. We're the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights on Twitter. We are also on YouTube as well under those same names. So you can find us on there. Follow us on our website, www.wbsknights.com, to see more videos and information like this.